This is a scene of bullying. Seems familiar? The issue of bullying has become very prevalent in the world we live in today. Bullying can manifest in many forms: physical bullying, verbal bullying, cyberbullying, and many more. Because of the many nuances of bullying, the line between a joke and mortification is hence blurred, causing many to be oblivious to the effects and consequences that their actions bring about. However, the true peril of bullying lies in the vicious cycle created by the consequences and impacts of this seemingly insignificant action. The intentions of bullying are often introduced into the mind of a person because of themselves having been through the victim of traumatic bullying. A trivial comment could be all that is necessary to start off an avalanche of toxic behavior. As soon as the spark is lit, a wildfire will be born. Let's journey through 3 distinct scenarios to portray this.
Meet Johnson. He seems like a nice boy. Perhaps someone you would meet at a library and instantly become friends with. He was the role model that your mother would compare you to. He was a social worker. He was a charity organizer. He helped everyone. Outside, he spread kindness and positivity to everyone he met. In school, a shining beacon of what a model student should be. The best grades, the best praises from teachers, the best life. However, his life begins to fall apart. He is now a victim of bullying. Incessant teasing, name-calling, jokes about his weight. You name it, he's gotten it. Time passes. His morale begins to plummet. He feels worthless because of the brutal comments and insults directed towards him. His situation only worsens. No one talks to him. No one cares about him. No one even listens to him. The bullying becomes unbearable. Something bubbles from within him. One day, after seeing a humiliating picture with the caption, "You're so worthless, go kill yourself," appeared on the screen, he snapped. The nice guy is gone. Since this is what he's given, he'll give them what they deserve. He placed on a mask of benevolence, treated them with respect, and this is how they treated him? No friends, no confidence, and no identity. He's had enough. I'm the fat kid. I'm an idiot. I'm the joke. Is this what you wanted? From that day on, Johnson was no longer his former self. He was neither the fat kid, nor was he the nice guy. A bully was what he had become. With his big size, he dominates the classroom, intimidating and abusing his prey. He feels empowered, so this is what it feels like to treat others like how they treated him. Whenever he roamed the hallways, students would cower in fear. They no longer dared to trouble him. It was a sensation like no other, unexplainable satisfaction. Yet a sense of guilt lingered within him. Gaining confidence at the expense of others felt wrong. Treat others how you want to be treated, right? After all, that's what they did to him. This is Perry. Since young, he has been someone who desperately sought for his parents' attention, and for the past few years, his relationship with him has been extremely intimate. All the time, Perry would be enthusiastic to entertain and please his parents. Recently, however, something had gotten in the way of his relationship with his father. Ever since Perry's father had taken up a new job, his emotional and mental well-being has begun to deteriorate. Perry would see so little of his father. He treated him like he never existed. What happened to the tender embrace he used to wrap Perry in? Where did the laughter shed between the two go? How did what they have just suddenly vanish? Nowadays, he always seems so distant, always seems so void of emotions. It was as though what they had ceased to exist. Perry was greatly impacted by this. He could not bear to see what he and his father had slipped through his fingertips. But how did he deal with this? Perry's lack of affection was compensated by his newfound method of entertainment. He developed an online persona to prey on the easiest targets he knew about, teasing this one and making insensitive jokes about another. For he had known that this would have gained the attention that he craved so badly. People were calling him hilarious, saying that his jokes were hysterical, but it never satisfied him. It never felt like the same affection given by his father. Every night, his father's quiet sobs would reverberate throughout the entire house, keeping him awake through the nights. Hence, Perry decided to investigate. Step by step, he snuck up the stairs and listened to his parents' conversations at the wee hours of the night. Perry strained to hear the inaudible laments that were just caught by his ears.
I knew it was a job, but it's killing me. I can't stand it. My boss keeps torturing me, constantly telling me I'm stupid and worthless when all I try to do is fulfill his demands. I really don't know what to do. Today, he told me to kill myself. Tell me how I'm supposed to put out with this.
Upon hearing this, Perry chokes back a sob as the despair wells up in his throat. A mixture of emotions flood his mind. Pain, confusion, terror, anger. How could the world be so cruel? All he wished for was to see the smile on his father's face again. With nowhere to vent out his anger, Perry does the only thing he knows, venting his suffering online. All the world ever gave his father was pain and anger. It was time to return the favor. He storms into his room, flipping open his laptop once again, logging onto his social media account while vigorously jamming his fingers into the keyboard. Ha ha ha! Look at him! He's so useless! He should die! Upload. Now, let me introduce you to Sebastian. Son of a wealthy business mogul, neither his wealth nor his ego knew any bounds, or so it seemed. Hidden behind the facade of overconfidence was Sebastian's insecurity that he was stupid. Despite his exaggerated amounts of tuition, Sebastian still struggled in his studies, unable to obtain the grades his parents so highly expected of him. Thus, he was constantly obligated to remind those of his status and his money, flaunting his riches to mask his fragility, fooling everyone with his claims of superiority. This arrogant and snobbish demeanor was exuded everywhere he went, extending to how he treated his friends, classmates, and those who helped him. Because of his family's immense wealth, Sebastian was blessed with a chauffeur to attend to all his transportation needs. But of course, Sebastian extended his condescending attitude towards him. In school, he became a victim of physical bullying because of his despicable behavior and scrawny size. However, this did not cause his pride to yield, but instead aggravated it. For the first time in ages, his true feelings of inferiority were exposed. He was vulnerable. The only way he knew how to deal with this was to snuff out the flames of others in order to make his seem brighter.
You're so stupid. No wonder you can only afford to become a driver.
But Master Sebastian, you were the one who was late.
No wonder you're such an imbecile. If not, people will actually like you.
But Master Sebastian, I was the one that was here on time. You were the one who was late. How is this any of my fault?
You're so useless. I just hope you kill yourself.
So, how did these fabrications illustrate the dangerous paradox that will arise from bullying? Let's take a quick flashback with some additional insight. Sebastian felt pressured by his parents to excel in his academics, but was unable to do so and hence felt insecure, becoming a bully and adopted an attitude of egotism to appease his low morale. To the people who he disrespected, his chauffeur was one of them. Because of the way he was treated, the chauffeur hated his job, yet could not quit as he needed the money. This made him completely depressed and spend less and less time with his son, Perry. Perry thus feels dejected because his father spent little to no time with him. Craving the attention he was deprived of, he took to online bullying, where he started bullying Johnson. This resulted in many others jumping on the bandwagon of ostracizing Johnson. Johnson was extremely hurt by the way he was being treated and bullied Sebastian as an output of his anger. So, what relevance does this have? These examples depict the inevitable intertwining of bullying after the cycle has been initiated. Everything we do affects others and the causes of actions that they take. Everything we do has repercussions. The characters in the story elucidates this law by unknowingly causing one another to fall into the loop of bullying, bringing the worst nuance of themselves to life. Each person was filled with the desire to boost their own morale by putting down others, taking out their own agony on those around them. Ultimately, the cycle of bullying went one full circle, plaguing the initiator himself. Feeling the brutality of bullying returning to punch him in the face, Sebastian finds the phrase that he had been insulted with very familiar. He realizes that these exact same words coincide with those he had used on the chauffeur not too long ago. He thus recognizes the similarity between the despicable attitude he had treated others with was reciprocated. Enlightened, Sebastian now decides to change his way of life. Instead of putting down others, he decides to lift up others. For he had known, as long as he was willing to make this seemingly unimpressive change, it would have a phenomenal influence, halting this vicious cycle of bullying.